Beehive. So there are 5 pieces. The first, second, third, fourth, and then the center. For these first 4, you have to extrude 2 lengths of each because they're going to mirror, and then they'll be the bottom, and then just the center will be one hole. So this is kind of how they look. Top, second piece, third piece, that's the one that goes on either side, that's a hole, and then you flip those over, and when you put them all together, you will have the Beehive. So I have them in both the 18mm and the 23 disc size. This was the 18, and I'm going to put together the 23 now. So I tried varying shades of gold tan, and I'm not sure, I don't know. This one, there are some slight variations in color, but they're much more all in the same tan family. So I am going to see how that looks compared to this one. So what I start with is the center piece. So I'm going to take one side of it and put in the center. It should just fit right in without any issues. Just push that in place. And then I'm going to take the side pieces and put them on the side, and then flip this over and put the other piece on top. I found that working from basically the center out to build this works best when it comes to assembling it without squishing anything, without getting frustrated. This, I don't know, this worked pretty well. So that's how I'm going to do this. I'm just, again, painting the distilled water on the sides to get everything to stick. And then I will put these pieces on. So these, again, just make sure you have the curved, the rounded side on the outside, and the other end should kind of just squeeze right into the side of the circle. Squeeze that one in gently, pushing from the outside so that it goes into the circle. Like it fills the groove space. Again, if you squeeze too hard, you will disform it, so just squeeze enough to get it in place. Okay. So that is the first part. Now I'm going to take this one, flip it over, and apply that piece. You'll notice when I set this up, I laid everything out from the center, working out, so I know exactly which pieces go. Start with the center, then the next piece, the next piece, the next piece, build on top of each one. For me, it just makes it easier. Like, I know exactly which piece is next. I'm not double guessing myself or anything. So that, and then again, this just fits in the groove. You should be able to slide it right in and gently push down. So we have the middle portion. Next up, again, the reason why I do it this way is you're less prone to squish everything. And my other tip is always paint on whatever surface is smaller. So I'm putting this on here, but this is wider and this one isn't. So if I paint all of this, I'll have water on the sides, which makes the piece just slippier, more slippery. And this just kind of helps mitigate that a bit. So again, center it and gently press down. So you do want to try and get everything as centered as you can, because this is kind of a symmetrical design that works best when you do have everything symmetrical. Okay, so I just flipped it over and now I'm going to add the other side. And then finally, the last piece, the top. And then once I put this on, I flip it over, do the same thing. When you flip over and put on this last piece, just be a little careful, because by now the top is rounded and this likes to roll around, and you don't want to, one, flatten this, squish it out any, and two, just be forewarned, it's reach that point where we're getting to the top and there's just not as much surface area for it to sit on. So these pieces, so, oops, wrong one. You're always attaching, like, when it comes to this top piece, it curves, right? So just make sure you're attaching the flat side and not the round side. And you can see how it moves a little bit. You can see the different colors here give it, I don't know. I don't know. Next time I might try doing it all solid color and see what I think that way. But that said, it's a cute beehive and I'm excited to make a soap with it. The bee is the final disc in the bee honey themed series. So this one ended up being more complicated than I anticipated. You can see I numbered these because I needed to just keep track. So this was kind of the inspiration. The wings I just doubled up. There are not two between them. I removed the stinger and the antenna because that was just going to be too much. So there's the head, which is this piece. Then piece one is the body, and it goes, 1 is yellow, 2 is black, 3 is yellow, 4 is black, and 5 is yellow. So this is kind of how it turned out. And I assembled the body and then put the wings on after. You kind of have to. There's no other way, really, I think, to effectively do that. But getting this body, as you can see, it goes in and then goes out, and getting everything centered and stuff, it was a little, like I said, it was just a little more challenging than I anticipated. Things slid a little bit. I put my wings on wrong the first time, had to take them off, and things moved over. Like, it was definitely, I said, a bit more challenging than I anticipated it. I thought it would be an easier design. That said, I do think it's cute. With this in mind, what I started with was the head, and I built up. I just found that that was easiest for me. Doesn't mean it's going to be easiest for everyone. You could start with the tail and build up, because this does go thick, thin, and then thick. But it just, I don't know, it just made sense to me. It was easier. So with this one, you need to find the concave section and that goes up. These are all going to kind of fit in and build up from each other. So that's how that fits in. Paint the distilled water on the head, and then I'll fit the body into that. So it should, this piece is relatively easy to get into place. It should just fit right in the groove. Okay, so that piece fits right in the groove. This piece was the challenging piece because it's the thinnest and everything has to sit. So this one, can you see that one side is wider and one side is thinner? If you look at this, the wider side goes on top. So the thinner side goes on the bottom. I put it on backwards the first time. I had to take it off, which was a pain. So just pay attention to that. You do need to, the wide side is the side that's going to go onto the yellow piece. If you're building from the bottom up, it will be the short side. So just kind of pay attention to which way you're going to build the body, and long and short sides and the curves and arcs, and which way they're going. So again, just gently push that in. And so now you should have 3 of the pieces, 3 more to go. This one is the biggest pain. So what I ended up doing, this tiny little part is going to go on the thin part. I ended up putting the black piece on these 3 pieces and then putting it on like that. So I'm finding the curve section. That's the top, this is the bottom. This is going to fit in. I'm going to flip it over. Not push too hard because I don't want to flatten out this black piece. But it was easier to flip it over and make sure I was centering it. I also have to fix the disc. It was just a little bit too thin here, and so as you can see, it didn't extrude cleanly. It doesn't affect the embed, but still. Okay. So now, trim off this. I'm gonna find, that's the arc. So that's gonna be the bottom, and this is gonna fit into here. This is not, it's not excessively hard to put together. It's just you have to get all the pieces going the right direction. And that body, like I said, doing the first 3 and then these 3, and then attaching it, I think is going to be much easier than any other way. So just gently getting this in. And then so there's the body. And now that's gonna attach on there. And you see how thin that is? Like there's just not a lot. So if you were trying to put this piece on and then build, you would have a rough time of it. I bet this piece is going to keep falling off. Once I have these two and I put them together, then I can get the wings in to kind of stable it all. So, just basically just try and line it up. You'll be able to squish it, move it a little bit once you get the wings in, and you'll have a bit more stability to kind of put it in place. But yeah, so the wings, make sure you put the wings on right. Oh my gosh, I put one side on one way, the correct way, and then I put the other side on upside down, and when I cut it I was like, this doesn't look right. And then I had to take the wings off, but I had already got it really well in place and it just did not want to come off very well. So yeah, that's my advice to you. Just make sure you get it in place, or get it in the right direction the first time, because you don't want to have to pull off the pieces. So if we're looking at, this is our head, right? So everything, head, tail, the wings, how do they go? Well, you got to find the thick portion. See how that's the smaller bump and that's the larger bump? They should go in that way. They should not go in like that with the smaller bump on top, the larger on the bottom. If you did that, you can see it works, but you just want to make sure that you consistently put both sides on. Like I had one side this way and one side this way, so it really didn't work, but that's how it's going to go in. I can gently push on the outside, like both here, to kind of get it in place. Okay, let's see what we get. I need to wait to let this harden up a bit before I cut little pieces off. But I wanted to show you one little in piece. See, I'm trying to unflatten the butt and the tail, but I flattened it when I cut it. But there you go, that's that should be. Now, I did the wings in white because I couldn't figure out what color to do them in. I was gonna do a really light tan, but I don't know. So I'm still undetermined as to the wing, what the wing color should be. But there is your Bumblebee. And it is really cute. Now, let me trim off this. And I need to wait a little bit. It's just a little too... But yeah, there you have it. I do think it's really cute. I love... So there's the bee, the honeycomb, and the honey pot in this series. And I think they're really cute and I like them. I'm excited to make some soaps with them.